High five. Oh, can we do that for COVID?
See, bro. No, we're good. We're good. I'm double back.
Samesies. Hey, what's up team? So today we are doing something I've been looking forward to doing for a while, which is test riding motorcycles down here at TSS, and they have very kindly loaned me this KTM 390 Adventure for the day, and I'm going to go and ride it around and check it out. Now, I don't know where this is in the timeline in terms of what we're releasing on YouTube, but if you haven't seen it yet, we've got some stuff coming out about learning to ride and things of that nature. So I just want to make sure that everyone knows what's going on. This is not a review so much as just I'm going to ride it and just let you know what I think. Yeah, so it's quite a tall bike and it's got quite a nice cockpit and it's got quite a nice dash. But yeah, I think the first thing to do is just let's take it out, get used to it a bit, and I'll start giving you some thoughts and opinions. Tell you, initial thoughts, is an interesting riding position. I feel very upright in terms of how I'm sitting, but my knees feel a little bit cramped, kind of. I don't know, it's a bit weird. Like, the thing is, coming from my wee Harley Davidson, which is a cruiser, and before that sports bikes, this is kind of an unusual feeling. I've not really spent any time on adventure bikes, which is kind of why I wanted to start here. And I tell you, I feel very upright. My hands feel, from what I'm used to, very low, and my feet feel kind of, I feel like they should be further forward. But yeah, the thing that I remember from the RC390 is that the power on this particular engine is predominantly quite high up in the rev range, so let's go and at least give it a bit of a whirl on the motorway. I tell you, very quickly I'm learning about this bike is the ergonomics. I was looking in a couple of the shop windows as I was riding along just to see if it looked as weird as it felt, and I think it's more what I've got in my head from what I'm used to with my big bars and my cruiser style motorcycle. And this is, from looking in the shop windows, it doesn't look weird, but it just feels very unusual to me. So just keep in mind whatever I'm saying is coming from purely my point of view and not trying to be subjective. I know what I know. Okay, let's give her a go. She gets up and goes. So from that little jaunt along the motorway there, I think a few things that I've noticed already is this is a very stable motorcycle. It does feel very stable, but then with that it also feels like it's a little bit harder to just tip in at higher speeds. But again, I mean, this is all coming from what I'm used to, so you got to, I guess, take into account that I'm a cruiser guy that has come from, well, I guess originally started on sports bikes. They had CBRs and Gixxers and stuff, and then now I'm on a wee Harley Davidson, so this is very much not me norm. So I guess all I'm really trying to do is share with you my experience, and then you can decide on that to put it into your, I guess, repertoire of things that you're going to be looking up if you're potentially interested in buying this motorcycle, or you're just curious about it. So I'll try and relay as best I can how I find it and how it feels. I tell you, that little gear shift, super crisp, very, very crisp. I like that, very snappy. This has apparently got a quick shifter on it, and I haven't tried that yet because I was told if I'm going to try it, use it at higher revs, and we're going around the city. Speaking of higher revs and around the city, I have already noticed that even just cruising around slow, I'm wanting to be in gears lower than I am, because I guess I'm used to my bike and driving it around on a whole bunch of torque because I've got that V-twin. This one being the 390, it's sort of, yeah, I kind of want to just be in where I might be in fourth around town. I've decided I want to be in third on this one, but hey, that's also partly down to that slightly off-road gearing. Where the f*** is neutral? Well, we don't need it now. We'll need to find it though. I won't be able to talk to you about range or economy or anything like that because I'm not really going to be riding this long enough. I know if you guys have seen our car reviews, you know, we get a week or so with cars and we really get to figure them out and stuff like that. But with these bike rides that TSS have teed up for us, I think we're going to find that we're just not going to have time to review everything, and I've just got to tell you as much as I can, as quick as I can. So that being said, wherever you're watching this, be it on the or if you're watching it embedded in the website, or if you're on the YouTube channel or whatever it is, feel free to ask questions, because there's probably stuff that I'm not thinking about that you guys are interested in, and if you've got any questions, just bang them in the comments and I will endeavour to answer them to the best of my ability. And given that TSS is just up the road, we can always go back and find out, and the guys there are really good. Like if I just want to hit them up and say, hey, got a question, they're all good about that. I tell you though, if you're a short rider, like I'm, just so you guys understand, I'm 6'2" and I'm currently about 110, 112 kilos. Been off the gym for a while, and I tell you, this isn't going to be a great bike for people that are maybe under 5'8", because even at my size, I'm not tippy-toeing. I can flat foot both feet, but only just. So I'd say the standover height on this is pretty big. Oh, what a beautiful day in Wellington City. Hello. I did just want to get this through the city a little bit, because if you're interested in this bike because you clicked on it, chances are you are a learner rider, or you're about to be, and that would obviously, if you're learning, you're probably going to be doing a bit around the city and low speed stuff, so it's always good to know how they operate like that. But everyone's got to hit traffic sooner or later, so how does that go? What's this guy up to? Yeah, that shifter, so snappy, I love it. Jimmy at TSS was showing me what this screen can do. It's got quite a few modes and features and technology on it, which is a bit cool. Apparently we've got selective in terms of how we want our ABS and our traction control and things like that, which is a bit cool. Apparently the traction control will only disengage the rear, not the front, so it's not going to go off, but it's going to go off enough that you can slide the back end into a turn if that's how you decide you want to take a corner one day. This definitely feels very tall, and because I'm not really used to it, I don't really know if I want to be going lane splitting. But I had just a pretty girl look at me, which, let's be fair, that's why we rode motorcycles, isn't it? I'll put it on the screen, but in terms of pricing, this bike on road with warranty and everything, it's just a couple of bucks over 10 grand, which, you look at the 10 grand market, you look at new bikes in the 10 grand market, and this is not near the top of it, particularly for its class. The V-Strom is a couple of grand more than this. Haven't ridden that yet, but that's definitely on my list of things to do. And it's like, is that worth it for your money? Like, are you getting the extras? I can really only answer that question for you once I've spent a bit more time on more bikes. But 10 grand for this, with the warranty that it comes with, is brand new. It's got that KTM, and it definitely has that ready to race attitude, which is quite cool. Like, if you're into something a bit more exciting, I suppose, this has got that revvy engine that KTMs, I guess, are known for, which is cool. So a few things that I've learned. I've just been riding this around town really, and around the suburbs, to try and get an idea for it, and I think definitely that this bike is aimed for predominantly being sat down on. Maybe it's because I don't think I'm too tall for it. I was going to say I was too tall for it, but then realistically it's actually quite a large bike, so no, I don't think I am too tall for it, which would indicate that if you want to do some real off-roading, you probably want some higher bars, and I'd probably roll them forward a little bit. This is just how they came out of the factory, but I guess the point I'm getting at is that when I'm standing on these pegs, it feels like it's quite far forward over the bike. Like if I'm standing up, I'm trying to stand up here, and legs are straight, my back's not, and I'm real far over the front of the bike. And the handlebars feel very low down there. So yeah, this wouldn't be fun for if you're doing lots of off-road dirt biking or something like that. I just feel like my hands are so far down there, and quite close to me as well. But that's cool. At the end of the day, if you decide you're going to take your adventure bike adventuring, and you want to do some proper adventuring, which I'm assuming you very well could do on this bike, you might just change a few bits up, and that's cool. The other thing I got the opportunity to try was the quick shifter. Now, Jamie at TSS did say that it's a bit clunky at low revs. It's not really designed for that. It's more your high-end rev banging. But check this out. We're in 4th gear, no clutch. I'll wait until we're on a straight again. How many straight roads are there in Wellington? Okay, so 4th gear, no clutch. Bang it down, we're in 3rd gear. And then the other thing we can do is we can gas it, and we're up in 4th gear. So that's no clutch. So that's what the, I guess, quick shifter they call it does. It just means you don't need a clutch. But I have found that just where I'm cruising around the city, I just want that smoothness. I'd rather have the smoothness and use my clutch instead of just trying to be like, oh, look at me, I can do a thing. So, well, that's a cool story, bro. The suspension on this feels quite well balanced out of the box, actually. It's I'm, like I said, I'm about 110. I haven't actually checked for a while. Kilos, that is, if you're watching this in America. That's about, I don't know, what's that, 220 something pounds. But the point is this does seem to be like it's set up for someone who's kind of my size, which is what I've been saying about this bike in terms of it's for, maybe almost intentionally, for slightly bigger people, you know. Oh, so this is Red Rocks. Okay, so I haven't been here for a while, but let's go try it out. Now, I was told way over there is Devil's Gate, and I was told don't take it over Devil's Gate. Now, I like Jimmy, so I'm gonna respect that, but let's just go and have a look at it. Actually, this will be the first time I've ridden an adventure bike off-road, which will be fun. We've got ABS and off-road mode and traction control on, which is cool. Ah, river crossing straight away. Okay, cool. To be honest, now that I'm thinking about it, this video is as much for my own amusement as it is for you guys to maybe get an idea of what this bike is like if you're considering having a go. Let's just send it. Hey, that worked. Oh, traction control light's going crazy. But it's working though, like I'm not... Oh, shit. I don't know if you can hear this, but I've definitely found on the way back where I've been getting a bit more rough with it. It does hook up and pick up well even in the soft stuff. Like at low speed it's a little bit kind of, okay, let's find out what's going on with this clutch versus traction control sort of agreement. But once you're up and running, I mean, there was a bit of traction control argument there, but once it's going, man, it hooks up pretty quick off-road, which is quite cool. Alrighty guys, back on the hard stuff with a fresh battery. My battery ran out just as we were leaving. So I thought I'd give you some final thoughts on this motorcycle, the KTM 390 Adventure. Tell you what, it's still bloody windy out here. Alrighty team, we are back with a fresh battery and also a clean motorcycle. This thing ended up getting so dirty I couldn't take it back to TSS like that, so I gave it a quick once over, used that good motor muck stuff, and yeah, just get it nice and clean for them, return it somewhat in the fashion that I found it. But yeah, in terms of, I guess, a recap on what I think of this bike, I think it's definitely growing on me. I think it's a cool bike. I think it's a cool idea. I think the thing is that this bike might be not suitable for some people purely because of its size, but then for that also it's probably ideal for some people who are a bit taller. When I was at home, my flatmate, I gave him a quick sit and I just said, let me know what you think, and he's like, oh, it's big, and I think he's about 5'8", 5'9", and I'm 6'2", maybe a little bit more, and this bike feels good to me, like I'm sort of both feet on the ground, I'm okay. But yeah, he was tiptoes on both feet, so yeah, it might be a bit of a bigger bike. So if you are a larger individual, perhaps this is the motorcycle for you. I do think it's got a good amount of power. I think it rides really nicely, and I think it's pretty well appointed. But yeah, overall, I think this is a pretty cool bike. Again, don't take my opinion as, this is the right bike for me because I think what Nick says is gospel. I mean, for one, that is true, but I think the important thing is just get your own bum on the seats and yeah, just see what bike feels good for you. Like, this feels like a good size for me, and it feels like good power for me, and if I like the idea that I can go a bit off-road if I want to, not that I usually do, I'm more of a big K's kind of let's get somewhere interesting kind of a rider, but as an option, yeah, this is a pretty interesting one, and I think it's definitely worth considering, and definitely worth looking into the bigger adventure bikes in general if you're a larger person. Like some of the smaller bikes like the RC390, it's just going to be too damn small for people that are, you know, bigger. And as I understand it, the Suzuki, which I'm yet to ride, also is it's a bigger, and that one's also a V-twin, so you're going to have a little bit more torque, I believe, in that particular engine. So yeah, I mean, overall I think it's a pretty neat bike, and I'm glad that I've spent some time with it, and I'm really glad I got to take it off-road and have a good bit of a go with that. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I don't know if it was informative or not, I haven't watched it back yet, but yeah, if you enjoyed it, get subscribed. There is a lot more motorcycle content coming, some of which is shot at TSS. Thanks very much, TSS. These guys have been really good. So if you're in the Wellington area and you're looking for a motorcycle, or you're looking for gear, then definitely give TSS a visit, because they have got all the stuff. Oh, look at that bike. Hey, there's my bike. Hello, my bike. Oh yeah, shout out TSS, thanks for the loan of the KTM, and we will see you on the next episode of The Open Road. Thank you for watching.